how many people we have here. Shout out with your name and LC. We have 10 seconds.
That is me.
Only Naomi Zlin. Okay, so we'll have the webinar about SSN progress, deeper understanding. This will be a part of your transition as LCP elects. So I will have a lot of questions for you. So I'm expecting a lot of proactivity. I think we know each other already, so we don't need to be shy from talking or something. So yeah, cool. It's a good to go. Everybody here?
Yay.
Good. So the first thing that we are getting through, first things first, is the starting point, and that's the why. Can someone tell me the why? Come on, people, talk.
We strive to achieve peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential.
Yay! Thank you very much, Elishka. That's true. And the second thing here is that we have a guiding question. Like every single time when we are gathering, for example, in international conferences, we ask ourselves this question: can you imagine what happens to the world when we engage and develop every young person in the world? So this is something that, to achieve peace and fulfillment, we need to have the answer of this question, and then we need to break it down. If we move further to the leadership development model, what would you say about this? What is actually this thing here? Can someone answer what is this?
Leaders we develop.
The leaders we develop. Some other opinions?
Yes, because like when we say leadership, leadership is too abstract. So this is how Isaac defines leadership, through which we want to achieve that why.
Okay. If I have to ask you right now, is this leadership development model? What would you say? Opinions? Is this leadership development model? Yes or no? Are you still with me?
Yes.
Come on,
Yes, it
don't
is.
be
So
afraid of answering.
yes, it is the leadership development model.
Thank you for your answer, but it's not true. This is not the leadership development model. When we talk about leadership development model, is something more than this. And I wanted to address this to you, is that often we do a mistake and make this mistake of saying that this is the leadership development model, which at the end of the day, if we get through all the things that we do as ISEC towards leadership development, this is only the leadership qualities that we develop in the people around us. So if I give you these three things: in and outer journey, the exchange standards, and the leadership qualities, and I would ask you to put them in order, how would you put them? Which would be the first thing? Because the leadership development model, it's formed by these three things. It's not only the this thing. Leadership development model is formed by these three things. And now I'm asking, if you would have to put them in order, how would you put them?
So first standards, then inner outer journey, and then the thing.
And then the leadership qualities. Yes, that's true. And I wanted to put this here as a deeper understanding. Let's say like that, is because I was asking a lot of people, and when we ask as ISECers, and especially when we ask newies after a period, what is the leadership development model? They would show you this picture, like the one I was showing you, which this is only like the end thing of the leadership development model. But actually, the answer of this question, it will be that we deliver the standards to facilitate, wait, I need to hide this, to facilitate the inner and outer journey and to develop the leadership qualities. And all these three things, they form leadership development model. Um, Now, when you will be asked, because you will be asked most probably from now on, what is the leadership development model? This is the flow we should explain the whole model, because it's not only about the leadership qualities that we have and we try to develop, but it's actually much more, as you can see here. And this is the order that we are doing. We are doing things and we develop leadership. Do you have some questions here? Everything clear? Yes, no, maybe.
Yes.
Did you know this before?
Yes.
Yes, very good. There are things that we're going to discuss about this webinar that you already know, but there are some things that you might take them on the way. Good. Then, if we move further, which quality is this?
Empowering others.
And do you know, if I will ask you, what are the defining elements of each quality? Do you know how to, like, do you know to explain, or do you know how to get through them? And do you know how to use it? More importantly. Because if you take a look here, like, we have all these like 4 things, the develop part, but each thing has its own defining elements, which we use while we are facilitating lead and like goal settings and everything. What do you think falls under empowering others? Do you have some opinions about this? Any tips?
So you want like the three deeper defining elements of
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So like that you're developing and empowering people, like other people around you, like these kind of elements.
Mm-hmm.
That you, what was that? Like, something effective communication. Yeah.
Okay.
Ciao.
Yes. You touched some of the points. That's the thing, because we will have a lot of people and we will have to explain it to the externals as well. Because if we know how to explain the whole flow of the leadership development model, people would like to know more, because they will ask, what does it mean empowering others for AIESEC? Because if for AIESEC leadership it's about developing these qualities, what does it mean for AIESEC when we develop empowering others? So we need to be able to explain that for empowering others, it's communicating effectively in diverse environments, developing and empower other people around us, and engages with others to achieve a bigger purpose, which is exactly what we do. You don't need to remember this word by word, but if this occurs, you need to be able to explain it to any kind of person, AIESEC or non-AIESEC, what this means for us. Because otherwise, if they cannot feel the connection with empowering others or the other leadership qualities, they will not join AIESEC, or it will not promote AIESEC in the best way possible. Good. Next one. What is this?
Solution oriented.
Yes, amazing. Do you know what falls under solution orientation?
There is like that you're able to take a risk.
Mm-hmm.
Then there is like something with positivity, that you can like, that you gotta be positive even though you're in like uncertain place or something.
Okay. Yes.
And some adaptation to the resilience, like that you're facing some challenges, so you have to be like resilient and stuff. I don't know if.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Exactly. So someone did his homework. So yeah, when it comes to solution orientation, we have adapt and show resilience in the face of challenges. I think we're getting very, very good at this in the last months. When we're facing a lot of challenges, we need to stay strong in front of them and like treat them as challenges, not as fuck ups or something like that. To transmit positivity, to move forward toward uncertainty, because we'll have a lot of things in front of us that we don't know how they will work and what kind of results it will bring to our entity, and we need to be positive in order for us to move further with the right mentality, and of course takes risks when needed. We will have a lot of times when we don't know how to plan, or we don't know what to plan, and this kind of stuff. And at some point, we need to take some risks and see where these risks will guide us. So these kind of things, if you know how to explain it as a leadership quality, you will not have a problem with like promoting ISEC in the best way. Then we have, which one is this?
Self-aware.
Oh my God, so proud. Good. And it's here we have understands and lives personal values. This, from my point of view, when it comes to personal values, it's much deeper for every person, because the values are understood differently from person to person. So in case you get to this kind of stuff and you don't really know now the personal values, or ISEC didn't help you to develop the personal values at its fullest, um, have a moment with yourselves and like ask what are the things that guides me into in my life, not only in ISEC, and what are my values. Then focuses on strengths over the weaknesses. Of course, when we perform a job, when we perform a task, if we're going to stick to our weaknesses that we cannot do because of this and this, and we are not focusing on I'm good at this and I'm going to use this to get this task done, we're not going to achieve it. And then explores one passion. If you're deeply passionate about something, go there and take that thing, because it will help you a lot. And then we have
World citizen.
world citizen, which means for us believes in their ability to make a difference in the world, interested in the world issues, and enjoy taking responsibility for improving the world. Because in ISEC we face a lot of stories, and we face a lot of people with difficult stories behind. And at some point we develop this quality in a matter of we can relate to some people when they tell us their stories, and then we develop this instinct inside of us that makes us believing in what in the change in the world, and we want to make a change ourselves, and these kind of things. So this is how this kind of things can be explained to people inside of ISEC and outside of ISEC. And do not limit yourselves in only explaining that leadership development model is about developing this kind of characteristics and qualities without even like getting to them and explaining to them much deeper. Of course, not all the people will just have the patience to listen to all these kind of things, but a lot of people are interested, and we need to be able to explain it. Yes. So what is all this? What part of why, how, what is? You have the question right. You have the answer right here. When we talk about leadership development in ISEC, we talk about, come on, people,
How?
about our how. But as I like to call them, ingredients, and I'm talking about our what. What is our what? There are two things.
Like the exchanges, and
Okay,
that you're like giving the opportunity to youth.
exactly. So you have cross-cultural exchanges and creating the opportunities. Of course, exchanges, self-explanatory, and creating the opportunities, giving young people the opportunity to get involved in creating these kind of opportunities for people to create more leaders through cross-cultural exchanges. Again, this was very uncertain at some point after we refreshed some of the things, but our what is cross-cultural exchanges and creating the opportunities for us. And at the end of the day, this pretty much summarizes everything um, in one page. but there is one thing here, which are our values, AIESEC values. And how can we use these values? I know that we had session in Falco about that. What do you remember we were talking about is how can we use the values? What is the place of the values in the whole why, how, what of AIESEC? Some opinions?
It's like that we behave according to the values, and that like reflects that you're an AIESECer.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, if you take a look at the whole picture, like we have our vision, we have our why, we have our how, we have our what, and then we use the values to create the kind of environment for us to actually reach it. Because this is also was uncertain that I can see the connection between all these things, like why, how, what, but I cannot see the role of the values in the whole thing. So it's basically we have our vision, we have our like high thing that we want to reach, and we use the values to set the behaviors and the attitude and an environment for us to be able to reach the vision. It's kind of a guide how to get there by creating the behaviors and attitudes. So this is how the values will play the role in achieving peace and fulfillment of humankind's potential. All clear so far?
Yes.
Yes.
Amazing. Then moving to AIESEC 2020. Here I just wanted to ask you, because now we are known as a youth leadership movement, but I wanted to ask you, why did we change in the first place for being an organization to a youth leadership movement? What do you think was the reason behind this?
Maybe it's like youth to youth.
Youth to youth, okay. Some other opinions? What do you think? Like we stopped because when it was presented in a way that from now on we will not consider ourselves an organization like any other kind of organization. We are going to consider ourselves a youth leadership movement. Why do you think
Like
we came up with this change?
we can be an organization as many as like thousands and thousands of organizations as itself, but if you're like youth leadership movement, it kind of reflects the vision, that like the what, because like you're placing or you're like giving the opportunity to youth and you're developing the leadership. So this is kind of easier to understand for even like for us and for the people that just like came to AIESEC.
Yes, that's pretty much the answer. Because we started with a point that with what makes us fancy and what makes us different and what makes us unique and special. And when getting to all these things, we figured out that leadership makes us fancy, leadership makes us unique, and leadership brings us the development that we want to see in this world. And for us, having hundreds of thousands of people fighting for this, for developing leadership, we are not longer an organization. We're just a movement towards leadership development. And this is how we came up with this. Just putting this a small parenthesis, how do you think we came up with the leadership development qualities? Why we have these 4 qualities that are mentioned here and not other 5, 10, and so on and so forth? How do you think we came up with this? Any ideas? Okay, so I will give you a little bit of context that some long time ago, I don't really know exactly the year, in the World Economic Forum, it was a convention which gathered the leaders of the world and they came together to figure out what kind of leadership we need in the world and why leadership is essential. And as an output of this conference, of this gathering of the world leaders across the whole planet, they came up with an output with a sort of qualities that the leaders should have, the future leaders should have, in order for the planet, in order for the world to move further towards the sustainable development that we all want. So among all those qualities, among all those characteristics that the world leaders came up with, ICE decided to align with that, and we picked these four as the main leadership development qualities that we want to see in the organization. And this is how ICE came up with these four qualities and not other 10, 20, 50 other qualities, random qualities. So just to make it clear, it's exactly like this. When we gather together, we figure out that this is something unique that makes us unique, and we are going to consider ourselves a youth leadership movement, not just an organization. Good? Clear?
Yes.
And under this, we have shaping what we do around the world, what the world needs, which means being aware of the global and local issues. We act quickly to respond to them by offering powerful leadership experiences. And we collaborate with like-minded organization and so on and so forth. When we came up with this in IC in India, shaping what we do around what the world needs, we were having discussions around how we as ISEC we connect with the world and how actually we put our activities according to what the world needs. Because at that point we felt like we are having an impact, and our impact is only in young people, but not around how these people will shape the society after that, and what kind of things the society needs to be shaped. And this is how this pillar took shape. Then, growing disruptively, we figured out that as ISEC since 2010 till 2015, we quite did the same things all over again, which prevented us to perform day by day. So growing disruptively for us meant that doing the same things not enough to one day engage and develop every young person in the world, and which means that every day we need to challenge the way we think and act as an organization, and to come with innovative and new ways of doing things to be faster and better. And this is how we want to grow disruptively. So I think this is one of the pillars that we implemented a lot in our entity so far, and this is something that I feel very much connected with. And yeah, this is something that drives the whole ISEC right now. And then we have being accessible to everyone everywhere, because this is strongly connected with engage and develop every single young person in the world. And of course we cannot do that if we don't access each and every single one young person in the world. And this is how this pillar took shape, and this is why we came up with this, that we want that anyone can experience ISEC, being like physically, virtually, directly or indirectly. And we will talk more about this later on, how we actually doing that. And then we have an operational plan based on this. And based on this operational plan, we have the roadmap. I was talking to you about this many times, and we were explaining that roadmap is an operational plan towards 2020. At the end of the whole ambition, if we mark all these things with green and done, we are sure that we reached pretty much like 2020. So I wanted to ask you, based on this, what do you think are these green things on the roadmap? Because we have into the roadmap, we have some projects that should be implemented by each and every single entity in this
Well,
organization, and then we have non-foundational projects that are there out there for entities to apply for them and to choose to pilot, and so on and so forth. So what are
well,
these green ones?
isn't it the things which have our entity as a RESPO, or how we want to like contribute into that?
Yes, that's true. we are contributing directly to all these things. These are the foundational projects. And each year we will have a roadmap. And each year there are some projects that will be non-negotiable. There are some projects that each and every single entity should implement to make sure that from one end to another we are progressing towards 2020. And this is how we do it. We put some foundational projects and then we put some non-foundational projects because not all the entities will have the capacity to do everything at once. And this is how we take it step by step each year to make sure that we progress into the roadmap. So this is how the whole logic behind it. And these are the non-foundational projects. And here you can see how these are divided in our entity. I put this here to give you a perspective of if we contribute or not. Yes, all of them. We are working with all of them right now. Shin is responsible for improved LDA products, market for LDA embedded into TM. ISEC Hub is on Shin as well. Implementation of customer flow Rana, and when it comes to finances, accounting, and everything of this matter is Paya. So if you ask if we are aligned to these trends and if we are aligned to the global network, yes, we are. And we have also two more projects that we're contributing, which is EWA Improve and Invent, and the online payments, which we are working right now with AI and see how we can make it happen. But besides this, we were talking about the operational plan. So we have 2020, then we have operational plan, and we have roadmap. There are two operational, let's say, plans. One is the roadmap, and the second one. And do you know which is the second one for the global organization? Like this, we have the global targets, which I was presenting also in Connect, which is this. This is the first year when, as ISEC international organization, we have concrete deliverables by the end of the term. They are the things that we want to strive to develop by the end of this generation. Because so far, each year when the AI came in place, they came and they aligned every single plan to the entity's plan. And some entities, they were not ambitious enough, or they didn't plan according to the growth we wanted to see in organization, and in this way the growth was not so big. So now we have some global targets which were established in IC 2017 this year, and we have for experience. We have growth in realizations for GV, GT, GE, 25% GV, 10% GT, 100% GE, and in completed, of course, 50% conversion rate from realized to complete on GV, 25% on GT, and 50% on GE. Then when we are talking to expansions, we have 8 new territories with at least one completed outgoing product. What does this mean? It means that this year we are going to open 8 more entities, or like territories, where we will have at the end of the year at least one completed outgoing experience. This pretty much summarizes what we plan for that. Then we have organizational design. Why don't we have here? We have no measurement. Why so? Because here there are a lot of things regarding OD and TM, which in 1 year is very hard to like measure the impact and what we actually want to see from this at the end of the year. So because of that, this year we don't have a measurement, but this year we have projects implemented by entities on OD and TM that by the end of the year we are going to be able to put a measurement for the next year. But for this year, it's very hard to measure it. And then we have, when it comes to our quality, of course, an increase of MPS plus 15. What does this mean? We take the MPS we had in the previous year, and we plan with at least plus 15. This should be the minimum we are going to target. And then we have percentages of leadership promoters. Do you know what leadership promoters are?
Yes.
What exactly?
Like it's basically if they would recommend it to others, like if they would promote it to their friends to go for exchange with us.
Exactly. When they feel the NPS, they have their question: how likely you are to promote ISEC as a leadership development organization to your friends, family, and so on. And 60%, we are aiming that at least 60% of them will recommend ISEC as leadership development organization. And as well, we have the fifth pillar, which is about finance and legal, number of entities fulfilling the risk and legal matrix. There is a risk and legal matrix for the entities. If you want to know more about this, I can share it, or Paya can share it with you later. What does this really mean for us? Number of entities with a surplus, and number of entities monthly reporting. Because now, as you know, with the GFB survey, we have the GFB survey will be monthly, started from August. Why? Because so far we had it quarterly, is because 3 months, if you have to assess after 3 months what were the bottlenecks, what we are currently facing, is not very healthy, because it's like I'm telling you after 3 months that you had a problem with this in the first month, which already affected the second and the third month. And we didn't know about that, and we were not able to build on that to make sure that we are going to improve it for the next month. So that's the thing. We'll have a monthly report for finance, and from January will count as a membership, global membership criteria. So that's a pretty serious job. Do you have some questions here about the whole thing? Roadmap, global targets, or how did we come up with these targets? Any kind of question? Nope. All clear. Amazing. We are going to play around this during PM a lot. Um, International conferences, we are going to talk about this a lot on the planning process and everything, essence especially. So we need to be aware 100% about all these things that we're getting through. Just going to summarize it once again before getting to our vision for this year. Deliver, facilitate, develop each of them. So we are going to get through this during PM a lot. Make sure that you get, if something is unclear after this, I'm going to send you the PPT, take a look at it, so you'll be crystal clear with everything. Cool? Like a pool. Amazing. So guess what we are going to get through next?
National plan.
Woohoo! So our vision for this year, because like from experience, when I went to Eurocall, yes, some people were there as well from the LCP. Alex, I had a lot of people coming to me asking about the vision. Like, what does it mean for us? How we are going to act towards that? What does really mean, like 4% in numbers, and so on and so forth. So for us to go there, and we will have people asking us, so how do you do it? What kind of things do you have there? How do you act towards that? And also because as an LCP elect, you need to know like the current direction of the entity, because we are going to work with it at least for half of your term when you start. So again, just to summarize it for everyone, because I had a lot of questions from EB members not knowing exactly how did we count it. Engage and develop check youth 4%. Means right now for us 120,354 young people from a total of almost 3 million people, young people in the Czech Republic. And to go there, we need 1,193 exchanges for the whole year. What is counted into the young people number is IGV impact. For each 8 EPs coming for Edison, we have an average 1,500, 1,600 people influenced during this like 5 weeks. And then we counted the OGX people. Actually, the people who are staying from the Czech Republic, going abroad, they have a leadership development experience, and they come back into our society. And then when it comes to the exchanges, 1,193 is not only based on the focus products, it's also counting the non-focus products, basically everything, which is focus and non-focus. Any questions here to make sure that everything is clear?
Nope.
No. Amazing. So when we move further to the engage part, we have the one focus per peak, IGV and OGV for summer, and then the external engagement this year with USpeak Forum and host families. With the USpeak Forum, the number of people we want to reach through this event for the first time, like having it fully nationally aligned, is 120 young people coming to USpeak Forum, and host family 176. Because we figured it out, like from my past experiences, the parents, they have a big influence over a kid's future, and it's normal. And for us to be able to reach all these people, also we need to reach the parents. So that's why that was the reason behind like this engage pillar, to include some other things, not only our ELD products. Because we feel that if we want to be accessible and if we want to engage and develop every year, we need to reach new markets. So this was something for us that we were discussing about. Then we will go to develop. We talk about membership efficiency and customer experience. When it comes to membership efficiency with the team standards and LDA and TM, of course, this is something that we pilot that we have to get done as entities as a part of the roadmap, and it will be very important for us, LDA and of course team standards, because we need to make sure that each and every single member of our organization will receive a qualitative team experience. And the development part of the customer experience is the realized to complete conversion rate, which for this year we plan it with 80% conversion rate. And we know that based on the global targets, the minimum is 50%. But we said that why only 50%? Let's stretch it even more and make sure that we are going to deliver these qualitative experiences we all want to deliver. And of course, leadership promoters, as we were talking before, 97%. Why exactly 97? Is because in the past we had, let's say, 95%, but the response rate was very low, 3 or 4%. Or no, this was for team standards. It was around 20-25% response rate with 95% leadership promoters, which is under 30%. We cannot really analyze it and count it. So we said, okay, 95, let's put the bar high, let's count with 97 and with conversion rate. And when it comes to the Czech young people, already know being faster and better in everything we do, also being aligned with ISEC 2020. When it comes to the process time, 15 days till approved. When it comes to our OGX products, and conversion rates from sign up to realize, because we were thinking, how many signups do we have as an entity, and actually how many of them are getting realized each year? And the conversion rate last year was 9%. 9% of the total amount of signups we had, we actually managed to realize in 1 year. Which, if we count it, we lose maybe thousands of customers each year. So for us, when we counted the strategies and everything, we realized that this year we want to put the bar until 15.6% conversion rates. But as well, it comes with the fact that in order for us to reach this, we don't need to increase a lot the number of signups, because we already have a number of signups. We have already a lot of them, but we need to work a lot on how do we convert these customers, and we make sure that we deliver the best experiences. So this is how we came up with that, and with the better part, the NPS, the response rate, to be more than 50%, and of course planning it with plus 15 as the global targets, which for our entity means 75 NPS at the end of our term in the product. But the interesting thing here, if you take a look at our direction when it comes to the external, like one focus per pick is something we have as entity, but when we take a look at external engagement, at the membership efficiency, customer experience, and also being faster and better, you can see that we are 90%, more than 90% aligned to what ISEC is striving for right now when it comes to 2020, when it comes to the global targets. So if you take a look at our vision for next year, we can say that we really align with what ISEC is striving for the next year and for the next 3-4 years. And we really care about aligning this, and we don't just take it for granted. Um, this is because I was asking like why customer experience and why like realization to complete and not something else. Well, this is why, because we lived through a lot of times when we had global direction like ISIC direction and entity direction, which is not right. It should be one direction. So this is how we cope with everything. Now, this is what I prepared for you when it comes to ISIC essence and the vision for the next year as a part of your transition. Now, I'm sure that when it comes to essence, you are quite well prepared. But as I was talking to you at the session, everything can be better, and there are some small things that we miss on the way. So now questions. Do you feel prepared for PM, which comes in 1 week and a half? Random question.
Maybe can you tell us how exactly are we gonna work with these during the PM? If you have some clue, like.
Yes. When it comes to the SSN progress, this also being a part of the transition that we need to get transition SSN progress. We are going to have again SSN progress during the summit, especially for the BOP elect, as far as I know. That BOP elect that they need to be aware of the essence before going to the actual like leading DLCs, which you're going to use this because if you go there with very low knowledge of SSL progress, it will be very hard for you to get the things. And it's about how do we represent the entity in front of the European planner. So always we should be connected with DSNs and we should know DSNs of organization. So this is something that you will use during the conference because you will have a lot of conversations with DLCPs because in the international conference, in the regional conferences, when we have SSM progress session, we have a lot of sharing spaces and a lot of interaction with the people in the plenary. And the conversation will be about the essence, how much we understand from the essence and how connected we feel. And this will help you a lot. When it comes to this thing, of course, this is a part of the essence. When it comes to right away, 2020, when it comes to the roadmap, especially roadmap and global targets, if you saw the agenda in the like the PM agenda that I sent to, do you have topics there as planning, global planning and regional planning, which the planning now it will go, if not 100%, 90-80% around the global targets and the roadmap. And you will be able to understand it fully if you already know and you already have the understanding of the global targets and the roadmap when it comes to planning, because you will have sessions with how do I plan and how my LC can contribute to the roadmap and so on and so forth. So this will help you a lot. And of course, our vision is because we all need to know our vision and everything. Oh, did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Some other questions? Is everything clear about the essence? Good then. I will take it as it's clear or I didn't understand anything. Uh, so as I was talking, if there is someone in DLC or in the national board who should know the essence 100%, those people are us. So that's the thing. That's why every single time we have Isaac Essence session, because if we don't know it, then we cannot expect other people to know it. Good. So, are there any questions?
Yes, I have many. I have maybe one question about the roadmap.
Yes.
I was thinking about the roadmap that like we know it as LCPs and etc. Of course, like the EB should know it as well, of course. But how
Yes.
about the leadership body and the others? Should they? Of course, like they have seen it, but they don't remember it pretty well. So, do you think that it is really like that important to give them the roadmap and to like go with them through each and every single step, or is it just should be like on the EB level?
Like at the EB level, they should be in an advanced knowledge. When it comes to leadership bodies, one thing that I learned from my experience is that if you don't explain how exactly they are working with it as leadership bodies and how they contribute to it, they will never remember it.
Mhm.
So you will learn even during PM, and I will explain it to you how each foundational projects financial project foundational project is aligned to what we are doing as LCs day by day. So for example, where you have improve ELD products is basically striving for completed, which is something that each and every single LC is working with. So I will send you as well this presentation on how DLC level is contributing to this foundational project. But like to answer your question, yes, they should know it. But more than this, you should like explain it to them. This is how our LC is contributing to the roadmap, and this is how your work is contributing to it. And in this way, when they see that, oh, I'm working with this daily, I'm contributing, they will remember and they will know what it means. Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Some other questions? Good people. So this was it from my side. Thank you very much for taking 45 minutes from your time, 50 minutes from your time. I hope it was useful and you have all the knowledge you need for the essence. And I cannot wait to go to PM with you and represent.
Laura, I'm sorry. Can I have another question?
Yes, sure. I'm free now. We can talk either about PM if you have questions.
No. I was thinking about the tracking